live.
All right.
All right.
Will you present or?
Welcome to Hydro Hustlers, episode 9, we think. We're all a little disheveled, but we're doing fine. I hope everyone is having a great night. I would like to start the chat. Just a second. I guess I'll just do this. I'm a little rusty, I guess. I gotta turn this down. Oh, we got a couple people in here. Holla. Okay. It's just us three tonight, fellas. I guess I will start. Let's maybe start with some introductions now that we got the formalities of the technology out of the way. I am Miss Noonie Groves, and I am a medical home grower, a commercial grower here in Canada. I was going to say Alberta, but this is my first show from New Brunswick. I am now living on the East Coast. Hola, from the East Coast. I just got a new job out here as the director of cultivation for Stewart Farms. So if you were watching last show, we had my new boss and CEO, founder Tanner Stewart on the show. That was a very fun show. We'll have him on again. But so right now, I've just been here almost 2 weeks trying to navigate life, new job, new people, new stuff. I don't have any plants currently. I did transfer over my ACMPR, but I got to wait for licensing and to get settled, basically, and then I'll get started again. And now to you. Whoever wants to go next.
Which
Casey?
one? I am Honey Bear Casey. I am a Michigan caregiver located in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. You can find me on Instagram at honeybear_Casey. That's all I got to say so far tonight. Elkie?
All right. Well, I am Alchemisten. I'm like a home grower from Denmark, and I love cocoa. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram on alki.misten, just like it's spelled here. And yeah, cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Cheers. We got a few people in the chat. I think because we don't have a guest this time, I could probably pay attention. Fuck that. Well, we got Abolished in the house, Abolished Productions, saying, "What's up, hustlers?" Hello. Always love hearing from them. Raider Dank Vader, Chiba Man, Brian M, Dirt Roa Dude, Jimmy One Life. Lots of familiar faces. Love it. So we're kind of here on a new time. Same day. We do the first Wednesday of every month. But because of my new East Coast life, I live in the future now. And so we're playing around with some new times, which is actually earlier from both my friends. So this works out. Hopefully this works out for the chat as well. But I didn't really give anyone much promotion or notice just because I forgot. Things happen.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I can highly recommend going to Michigan Bros Grow Show and check out their show. Very knowledgeable people, and I really love what they're putting out there, and also Abolished Farms, various funny mock-ups and whatever. It's always a pleasure to see it. I also saw that that meetup they had. If anyone didn't see that, and go to his Instagram and check it out. That is like a dream world to me, or like what I hope will be happening in the rest of Europe, like that you can meet up and jam, have some music, yeah, test out whatever people's having.
We tried taking it down for it, but a sitter for dogs. So
Huh?
we tried making it. Next one, hopefully. It's hard
Yeah.
when you have two
Yeah.
kind of dog.
COVID,
And they don't
you
swim
know,
for that same state, so I don't have to worry about COVID on any of that.
yeah, you can go to that thing. I'm talking about us having our own,
You guys, yeah.
hydro hustlers meet. We got 3 different countries here. Like our show is very complicated. International delights.
Yes, it is. 3 smiling faces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fun though. Hey, I want to go on let's go tubing, guys.
Like pre-show, we just talked about how many strains Casey has popped. I know how many different brands and stuff, and I've also accumulated a shit ton of seeds. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on what you found, and maybe you found something funny, maybe you found something.
Hunting.
Nothing too much recently. Sorry, I was trying to reply to Abolish, but in chat, I'll just skip chat and talk on here. It's hard to make it down from you.
You chat. You got a pretty direct question.
Sorry.
Mom.
Yeah, it was a direct question for me. Let's see. Most recently, best strains I've popped. None that have really stood out of the last 10 to 15 packs, probably. I have been running a lot of polyhybrids, and between herm issues and lack of terpenes and some of these polyhybrids that just don't carry through because people are just breeding for THC nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly haven't got much. So it's.
But maybe if I know your sources, you also have so many clones, like
That's
world
just it.
class.
I run seeds from everyone. I'm not picky on who I run seeds from unless I have something that's complete junk ones, hermaphrodites, something like that. I'll never run them again.
Yeah, in the end, you're still popping seeds, so you got to do all the hard work yourself.
That's just it. It's all I got to do all the seed popping, cloning, trimming.
Yeah, the seed pop. One thing, but then I started thinking about all the other things you got to do.
Yeah, there's so much to do, and we were talking, Miss Nudie and I were talking about it before the show. It's been 15 years I've had plants in my basement. So one day I'll get them out.
Get a break.
One day. Exactly. Get a little bit of a break. Not so much a break, but yes, I'm looking. I'm going to move into the commercial market, and it's just, someday.
Yeah. All right.
Someday.
Have you been settled on Stewart Farms, Genevieve?
It's been a whirlwind.
Right.
Like going into any new job, but like I find in the cannabis industry, like everything's just a little bit different because there's guidelines that we have to follow, Canadian legislation, and like every single farm or factory that I go to, things are extremely different, and then just a little bit different, including like just how you have to write the date. So it's just like relearning certain processes. Like Health Canada will have certain rules, but then every facility is going to do things a little bit differently. The best part about my new job is that I'm going to get to create my own best practices and like be really like a part of creating the SOPs. And like this is right at the beginning, which is like perfect. I love starting up. I just keep jumping from startup to startup to startup. You just learn more that way.
You're more closer to the actual production and the decisions now, right?
Yes, like I actually get to fight for what I feel is right. I guess. Like make an argument. Like these are not my plants. I'm still working for somebody, but He trusts me. I know that already. They want me. They know my value. And if he doesn't agree with me, I already know it's not about like, no, this is how we're doing it. He's open to let's talk about it and give me some science. And I'm all over the science. Like we have 3 scientists there assisting in helping develop the SOPs and develop the best practices and like helping me organize even just the daily scheduling. Like it's so awesome. It's unreal.
It looks very clean at your facility, I must
Yeah.
say. Like, keep it that way.
We're sanitation. Yeah. And they don't even have a sanitation team. That speaks volumes about how these people care about this facility because they have to take care of the tasks, but then we're also cleaning up afterwards, you know? And I mean, I've worked in a lot of facilities and most people don't give a shit about sanitation or cleaning, or they treat those people like shit, or they just don't care. They take it for granted.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone runs a tight ship and I like it.
But if it looks nice from the start, it's also a very good reason to up everyone a little bit on the cleaning and being like spotless, right?
Yeah, to keep it clean because they use real dirt, like real soil. Sorry, dirt, real soil. And so that shit's messy. Microbials and stuff, teas, fish water, it's all brown, sludgy, smelly. Like we got to keep everything very clean. Organics, it's dirty.
Yeah. Not going in my tub.
Definitely a change for you from a couple tiers high and working in the man lift, going back and forth.
Racing people in the old scissor lift versus real farm work. But I dig the farm work, so I'm happy to do it. And the people that I work with, they're happy to be there, so it makes a difference.
It's nice to get back to it and actually get your hands dirty again and truly get them dirty.
Yeah,
instead of you're working in cocoa and it just brushes up.
Yeah, I was chewing my nails today and it tasted like probably worm poop or something. Whatever I had just had my hand. It's pretty nice being able to organize things kind of how I want to, and like also being in the same mindset as the people that I'm working with. So we're very like-minded, which is perfect. So we have organization going, like we want the same things, so it's good.
All right. Well, I can't wait to follow along.
It was fun watching your cross-country travels too there. So
yeah, that was a fun time. Yeah, I guess I could talk about that too. That was like I went through 6 provinces to get here. So my daughter and my daughter's an adult. It was her 23rd birthday and we literally left the next day on a fun little trip across the country. And it's all the way through Alberta, through Saskatchewan, through Manitoba. And we drove through a heat wave. There's a huge heat wave that lasted about 2 weeks, which is about the same amount of time that I took to drive out there. Like 10 full days, basically, almost. And yeah, it was just, we got to see so many things. The dog, the cat, everyone came.
It's funny how similar that weather is because I also see a heat wave mentioned here. So
yeah,
it also reaches over here somewhere. I can't remember, but someone told me. So
oh yeah, it was every day my car was reading plus 35, plus 36 Celsius. And that wasn't the humidex, that was the temperature. As I got more east, it became more humid. And I don't have air conditioning in my Jeep, so it was a good time. That's why we stopped so much at so many lakes, because we would have died, I think, of heat stroke.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place to be on the trip?
You know what? When we drove through We got right over Manitoba. We hit Kenora, which is the border of Manitoba and Ontario, northern Ontario. That from Kenora all the way down to Sault Ste. Marie, which is southern Ontario. I don't know, maybe 8-10 hours of driving. We did that in 2 days, but there's over 5,000 lakes just in there. And that's like where Lake Superior. What's that? Yes, Lake Superior. I went in Lake Superior like 4 or 5 times. I was right above you.
You didn't tell me you were that close to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be in Sault Ste. Marie in 3 hours.
Yeah,
we could have met on the other side of the river and waved at each other.
Although I did drive through Sault Ste. Marie at like 3 a.m. I ended up sleeping at Elliott Lake is where we ended up, which is about 2 hours from Sault Ste. Marie. I don't know. There was a lot of sunrises and sunsets. But yeah, that was the nicest spot, just lake wise, just because it was like lake. And so you could find all these beaches. And well, Lake Superior is pretty nice. It looks like the ocean almost. The other cool waterfront was the St. Lawrence. That's fucking cool. Yeah, because that opens right into the ocean. That's like, as soon as you start getting into the rivers that lead into the ocean, it's like, that's cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
That was through Quebec, yeah.
I thought you went further north than that. I didn't realize you were that close.
Oh yeah, we had stayed along the southern border like the whole time, basically. Just because New Brunswick, where I am in St. Stephen's, it's so south.
Yep.
Literally, I passed by the customs border when I go from the corporate office to the farm. You like pass right by it. It's right there. Maine is across. Well, you've seen my pictures. It's like, there's Maine. People probably swim over.
That's awesome.
I know I said it was
that is awesome.
But yeah, it was really unreal. Like, it's felt like 6 months in the last month. Just even looking back at my pictures, like I was like, oh, I was just in Alberta last month and now I'm not. Displaced but happy.
Now when all those are popping up and you're like, oh shit. I remember
I don't know
that.
what time it is. I know I live in the future. Yeah.
You look pretty settled. You look more settled than I've ever been.
It feels good. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's like, I already knew I was meant to come out east. Like, it just felt like a draw for it. And then now being here, like, I felt anxious through every single province that we drove through, probably because we drove so much and like people-y and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I got to New Brunswick, I felt relaxed. The ocean air, like, I can smell it, I can feel it. I mean, besides the stress and the loneliness, I know it's gonna sound bad, but it's like, when you move somewhere, it's an adjustment. You get homesick and stuff. Like, it takes about 6 months to a year to like, I've done this. This is my 4th really big move. This is the biggest one, but it feels like it was the easiest almost. So to me, that means a lot.
Well, you're going to something that's meant to be. So instead of being forced.
And yeah,
you look much happier. You can see it in your face. Your cheeks are more relaxed. So it's
thank you. I feel disheveled and like stressed right now in bags, but it's only because I'm catching up with how I feel. I really do feel good. I've been getting nothing but sleep. I've been eating and sleeping and working.
That's what it's meant to be when we're our age.
Yeah, I got nothing else. I watch Big Brother. That's about it.
Oh, is that still going? Huh, I didn't even know.
You betcha, Alfie. I'm hardcore. Even though I moved, I caught up on all the episodes. So I'm back in it.
Yeah, I like
stuff, my friend and I.
I like reality TV, but I think you know that. We talked about that when we first talked. Yeah.
Secret. Now my secret's out.
Like TLC and 90 Day Fiance and all the fucking shit.
We can do our own podcast about TLC, probably. The Learning Network, the Learning Channel.
Yeah, very good name. I love the Amish episodes too. Like the two
Yes,
Amish episodes are so funny, man. It's like a different world. It's like you see, like they're all on spectrum, like everyone is, but they like, yeah, you know what I mean.
I love it too. I'm surrounded by Amish people, or was anyways. Like there's a lot of that kind of culture around me. And now if I drive over past to Pennsylvania, I could probably go meet these Amish people that I've been watching for the last 8 years. So
I thought it was really
that's
funny
cool.
that one of them actually had like I think it was on heroin, or one of them was on heroin in that show. And he also had like
Yeah.
probation for marijuana or something like that. But that's where I think sometimes people are deprived. Sometimes you're so deprived and you live in your little world, like it's so corner cut, and everyone is just telling you what to do, and then you'll do the complete inverse, and you'll get into more shit than you first anticipated, because in reality what you're doing, you're just trying to escape, right?
Yeah, that's like to me it shows a lot about what happens if you like put people in a bubble and like don't educate them about things in the real world, including drugs. um I mean, people slip into addiction that way.
Yeah, and also
And
harsh
there's like
parents.
3 or 4 of those just from that cast that ended up getting drug addicted and are in recovery or in relapse or in recovery. Like,
Hard
makes
parents, hard
sense.
upbringing, hard, like, yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
hard early
shame, I
life.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's for another podcast, I guess.
exactly. On another note, I was going to say,
Look, we got Smiley's in the house. Smiley's garden.
hey, Smiley.
Just catching
And
the tail end of these chats. Someone else is saying they missed Below Deck. I know what that is. Best show ever, 90 days. Oh yeah, we got some people in
90
days
Days is
sure.
the best show ever. That show's hilarious.
I know. They have so many spin-offs. I'm too far in, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the main channel, Cheap Home Grow, and on Rust Brandon's Instagram, I'm really excited about how he's pushing like the discussion on the red stems, because I
Oh yeah.
I love when people do that. Yeah, that's just how I am. I like to challenge like the status quo of some theories and some stuff like that, and I feel like Rust and Brandon can go into it with enough knowledge to back it up, and that's probably stirred the pond. But I mean, like, if someone takes it angry, I mean, it's just because they come unprepared. You can have a good conversation, and I mean, even when I see someone and I don't disagree with them, I mean, like, I'll still just, yeah, if it's still just present myself, there's no reason to be angry over or keep some kind of stand on that position. I feel it's cool what he's doing, and I think he's in the right to say that it's a cation imbalance, because what do you say, like, no strain is equal, and probably like the calcium uptake and the potassium, the relationship between there is probably different between some strains.
Yes. So if people don't know what we're talking about, I watched one of the videos anyways. I don't know how many he has for as far as content, but he had put on there saying that that purple stem or purpling is not genetics, but rather it's deficiencies.
Yeah,
right?
cation imbalance, like essentially a deficiency, because some strains maybe
imbalance.
Yeah, some strains are maybe
Toxic
more on calcium than they are. Yeah,
blocking out things, and that is a stress reaction, basically.
The same can be about woody stems also. Woody stems on newer growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stress reactor. It's the plant saying, "Hey, something's not right here." It's something you look for.
Sometimes on plants. Yeah, you can see where the purpling goes, and then it's green, And then sometimes you can see more purpling. So it's like you can see their cycle of stress.
Mhm.
Even on
Yeah.
the petioles.
Pedio, pedio.
I'm the
Yeah,
worst at
Where you are in
that
the world, I'm going to pronounce it.
the
yeah.
fat sap transport under the big leaves. That hose that's going. What was I gonna say? Um,
I never know enough whether I can agree or disagree. I just am taking in the information. Like when Brandon says something, I know that he's put in the research and he's not just like, like he puts in a lot of time and effort for the amount that he actually like what he shares everything with the public. And he could sell that information or, make people pay for it, but
yeah, that's
so
how it should
I
be
dig that.
because
I know I like it.
I hate when people are hate, but I really dislike whenever
Yeah.
anyone is taking like own to a method or naming it after themselves or something like that. Because in the end, what you're doing, you're manipulating some plants and you're, you know, juggling nutrients or whatever you're doing. Um, I don't really like when someone take ownage of something and calls it their own method because like yeah, in the end, what is it you're doing? You're cutting a leaf or you're yeah mixing nutrients a certain way. That doesn't make it yours. That just makes the certain ratio or a certain pruning. You know.
Mhm.
And we're not talking purple leaves here. The leaves actually turn purple late in flower. We're talking the actual stem of the plant itself.
I believe so, yeah.
So, someone asked, what's up?
I believe so, yeah. And
No,
that's
no,
not
I'm just,
necessarily
someone asked
out.
a question.
That's not
Someone asked that
our
question
opinion. Yeah, like
yeah, that's our
not
opinion.
any of our opinions. It's just what he was talking
But
about, and
I will say
usually
this.
agree.
I have had one or two strains where you cannot, everything's purple on the plant. And the bud almost turned out black.
Yeah,
It was.
the bottoms of the leaves look purpley black. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. So
That's what I wouldn't know. Yeah, like I couldn't agree or disagree honestly because I don't know the science and I don't know enough.
It takes an immense amount of
Like
fiddling sometimes, like extreme amounts of fiddling, and sometimes I am completely sure that red stems doesn't essentially equal less yield because it could just be that you're pushing your plants a little bit harder, and they could take it, and red stem still couldn't be your largest problem in that equation is my saying. But like being aware of them and seeing it, I can't praise that grow light meter app enough because actually that made me able to tackle some of those things. And when I saw that leaves more closer to the light and stuff like that, it's just way better to have a reference on that. If you can't afford an apogee meter like that, that's the next best thing. And I can say that it works because many of my friends have tried it. I don't know about the Android beta, but I trust what they're doing because they really have geek vibes. Like, and the homepage is excellent. Man, you can learn a lot from that page. If you're not really into lights, then if you go to growlightmeter.com, you can really learn a lot from them. It's not like just a sales page. You really, I had a hard time coming up with any questions for those guys because
they covered it.
yeah, like it covered like my first two questions, maybe, you know what I mean? So
can you post that link in chat for everyone, Alki?
oh yeah, I will.
Actually, that's a good
very
idea,
excellent.
I'm gonna bookmark it because I know you've talked about it before, but I have not gone in there.
Yeah,
but I need to learn more about lights. Like that's the one thing that
I try to question them because I do have knowledge about how you educate or how you develop such an app and what struggles you would. And the first thing is the model of the phone, and that's why they started out by doing it on the iPhone. And then what they are planning to do with the Android is that they had some university involved, and that's also like really screaming to me that someone in there is actually really educated and knows some connections in there and can But how that's going to work and how you can map that to different models and stuff like that, my initial thought would be that they would just take one phone at a time and just maybe take, the Samsung Galaxies and stuff like that, and then they can make like a universal template or universal device defaults for many Android devices, and don't guess so much. But yeah, considering how many parameters were on the table and all the questions they've answered for me, and yeah, I think that's the app to go, because I haven't seen TentBuddy, I haven't seen any other app that took like device differences into consideration, and that is like the most significant thing, if you're making an app like that. And also that
Well,
white paper, if you put in white paper over your phone and you're covering your camera like that, that would be a major inconvenience for so many app users. People just say, I'm just going to use it without, or that was the final piece of the puzzle. I tried first just downloading the free version, listed it in, it read really low or whatever. And that's also what my friend experienced. And we both put the white paper on top. It has to be like printer paper. You don't use a letter you got from some expensive government paper. You use like a regular printer paper and put that over. And for them to suggest that just tells me that they don't care about the people that whining and say they don't want to put the paper over, because that's what diffuses the light. That's what gives it an even reading. Imagine like you have a picture where you have all those dots of LEDs. Maybe some brand or some phones they discovered that would have a higher reading the more percentage of the quantum board you could see in the image. Do you feel me? Whereas when you have the white paper over, it will diffuse the light. All the LEDs will light up your phone in an equal way, or like in a square, right? Because it's on the paper. So it makes perfect sense to me that you can calibrate an app taking into account the camera and stuff like that. And actually, I had a friend who was asking for a parameter, like a very expensive one, like an Apogee or the next best thing. And he just said, like, honestly, it's not because I don't want to sell it to you, but get that Photon app or growlightmeter.com. It's it's like it's within 10% accuracy, so you can try that out first.
yeah, I need to try to. I just got introduced to TentBuddy, and I like that that app calculates your VPD.
Yeah, it has many great features. I know that it's a very favorited app. I just have my doubts that the
I just
PPFD
learned
will
it.
actually be accurate.
Yeah, see, that's what I worry about with apps.
Apps is a funny market to get into, I can tell you that. Like, and I could only imagine that someone has put a lot of money into that Growlight Meter app, because it's very well made. It's very professional.
I'm gonna
It
check
does.
it out.
It doesn't cost pennies to develop an app like that. It's pretty expensive considering the marketing you also need, because otherwise you're nothing on an app store like that.
Yeah, I would never get into the app business.
Hey man, I also saw we have Chad Westport and the guys that are doing the second future cannabis project, Buttgasm on Instagram it's called, and Future Cannabis Project. And there's also an Future Cannabis Project, which is abbreviated FCP02 on YouTube, a channel where these guys are having a show, and it's a very nice show. And I love the hosting that Chad Westport does. It really has living room vibes. I don't know how to put it.
I like that. Yes, they have our vibes. Non-stressful. Alki, did we lose you?
Nope, I'm still here. You want another topic?
I just I just got lost in the chat for a minute. But yeah, look, we got Chad Westport in the house. Supreme Grape What about Bob? I saw a question for me, or a statement, I guess. 71 DPO was talking about tattooing. Yeah, the chat's wild, man. Everyone's in there talking about things and doing stuff.
He's getting ready to tattoo again tonight, I saw. On
Yeah,
I forgot what show
cool.
he said it was.
Caribou something.
Yep. Please repost what show it is in the chat.
Yeah, let us know. We miss Steph all the time on the show. That's how chill our vibes are.
We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't give a fuck.
No. We just like hanging out, smoking weed. And
yeah, if you want to come chill, come chill. You don't, get out.
I had a question for you guys, maybe. Like,
what up?
Because you know how meticulous I am about pick and shoots and redirecting the osmotic pressure and doing nitpicking like that. And I know that that doesn't work in a commercial cultivation facility. Simply don't have time. You have time for
Right,
at home if you have a 3x3 and another tent, but you don't have time for that. Yeah, most people probably do topping to widen it out, like, right? So, but what else do you think about? Like, do you have any considerations when you're designing a structure like that?
I mean, another thing, if you don't have a plant, if you don't have a plant count, short veg times and more plants. You know, if you're regulated by your canopy square footage.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
I mean, you know, clone and veg for 2 weeks and throw them in.
Yeah, that is the way to go.
Square foot versus every 1.8 feet, something like that.
It depends what the facility's like main focus is. Like where I'm at, it's more of a nursery, I guess, or R&D. So the flowers that we create, there's more bedrooms and bomb rooms than flower rooms because we're doing so much R&D. And then the flowers are just like extra little bonuses, which I love. You know, we get to watch everything. And so if your focus is on, you know, bud production, then yes, you want to get as much in there as possible. But if your focus is on R&D, you could do bigger plants and longer veg times if you're not like as tied down, I guess, by like you're still tied down by schedules, but it's different what you're looking for. So I can create shapes, and like that's the part that I'm excited about. Less factory, like lots of little plants, and more like I have 3 rooms of moms, you know. That's my favorite.
And like what the focus is on, are you going for grams per square foot, you know, and trying to cram production out? What are you exactly looking for? So
yeah, there's so many different ways depending on what your facility, how it's running. Vertical, not vertical, like, you know, hydroponics, organics, ProMix, pots, like there's just
straight up
now I know that. I wouldn't have known that before. I would have thought there would have been like a pretty ironed out way, I guess, but it's just all just like what I said earlier. Everything's just either a lot different or a little bit different.
So real quick, Caribou Heart TV is having an artist panel tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Lots of great cannabis artistic talent.
Cool.
All right. I'll try to follow that page. I think I've seen it around. And Chad Westport approves.
Chad Westport approves. The most common thing I hear about Chad Westport is that guy's a really great guy.
Yeah, you know what?
Not well. I'm just getting to know him, but I just like thought I'd throw that out there. People think you're a kind dude, so I would love that kind of reputation.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed the show. Like I said, living room vibes, like totally sofa couch, and he has long hair. He has long hair, and he likes drum and bass, so that's right up my alley.
And you have the cat calendar behind you.
Actually, it's a unicorn doing yoga.
Well, focus your damn camera then. It looks like a cat on a scratching.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't expect it to be a rainbowy unicorn. laid out doing yoga, but it sure is. Every single month
I've
is a
learned when I'm
different
on,
pose. My daughter
I've
got it.
learned when I'm on the computer, I can't wear my bifocals.
Just open
It
your
makes me,
eyes.
no, I'm too high.
Too high.
I'm too sober. I gotta get something in. Please find a topic because
That is rad. Ever see
I'm
our
dying.
dad?
I'm dying
They
to
love
vape.
Cat's hair. Sorry. There's so much fun in here today. Yeah. I'm going to go be on that show one day. We have plans. They're tentative for the future.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go be a guest.
I
I
didn't
mean, I
get
don't know if I'm allowed to reveal that, but it's happening.
I was a little bit surprised that you didn't find it funny that I thought that me and Casey should be joining girls' night when you said that last time.
Oh, yeah. I
You
didn't hear
explained to me it
that.
wasn't a different show, and I was just like, oh, then we'll be Housewife Alki, as I usually call myself when I'm making food or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. You can
I
join.
gotta grab papers.
Casey just has to grow his hair a bit.
I don't have any hair to grow.
Well, I see it there. Get a little ponytail. And then you could put a bow in it like me, which I think I got a compliment on this earlier. Scrunchies are back in, boys. If you're going to be on the girls' show.
But yeah, I love like what Ross Brandon is doing is that essentially he's trying to make it simpler for us, you know, like challenging that red stem theory is like making it simpler for everybody. And I love like distilling things and making them simpler. Like whenever somebody's telling like, oh, what's the best LST, blah, blah, blah for something, it's just like, yeah, well, you know what? It's about temper. It's about expression. It's like an artist thing. It's learning by doing. It's, you know, yeah, that's how I see LST. Like it can be said as simple as that because you will make up your own opinion sooner or later.
Yeah, you got to really like do it, you know? LST. Yeah. I'm going to start introducing training into this new facility with the bigger moms. And, you know, not every one of them needs it, but the ones that do need it, like they just do so much better. And it's not even just about the structure or how many clones you can get off of a plant, which is like, that's awesome. Those are all perks. But if you start training them young, you develop like stress resiliency and cellular growth. And like if you super crop early, like, you know, that's a high stress training, but still those things will all develop the plant into a bigger, stronger, healthier mom, which is what I proved at Candry by taking basically a row of moms, all different strains, and treating them with like training and low stress and high stress training. And those moms not only produced better, but they were healthier and more resilient when stressors occurred in the room. Like we had some different things that happened where lights were, you know, not on the right timer, and the whole room, like sometimes even like had to be called because of the severe stress. And these plants, yes, they were, you know, weakened, which is how we figured it out, but they held up way better than anything else, and better than all of their sisters that are the same age, same pots, like all of that.
I have a lot of trouble with I don't want to use two mediums. Like I've decided that I thought I should use like soil, all mix, something like that for my mom's. But in the end, I was just like, no, it's 2 pH. I want to make it simple. But having them in a cocoa, even in a small pot, man, they they go wild. And like the last moms I've kept was, damn, I can't even keep a count of how many times I chopped them. But I say like it almost looked like a lawn down there. With shoots and branches like sticking out. But in the end, I mean,
it's a lot.
they're looking good. I
Yeah.
clean them out. I take all the side shoots off from the very lowest branches and up until I have that carpet I want. And if they're too high in the tops and have a few meristems just poking up, just cut them down. And then I have a new flat surface I can just spread out. I'm amazed how many times you can chop a plant before becomes an absolute tumbleweed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the thing
A
I
lot.
think about too is the more times you top it, the more roots it develops and the more root bound it gets, and over time.
It's funny
I worry
how
about
I've seen someone talk about root pruning, like some of those
that's new to
guys.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's new to me too, but I've seen some of them that claims
We
like
used to
more
do that like
vigorous growth.
well,
Huh?
Like tickling the roots. Yeah, I don't know.
we used to
Well,
do
like,
that like years ago. Anytime you try, we slice the roots and
Yeah. And it seems to work in some situations with certain
some
mediums, but
situations. It is a
maybe with
lot of stress on the
hydroponics,
plant.
it is. Yeah, I don't know, with some DWC growers so doing it, and I don't
yeah.
know. You know, it's just a thing I want to test.
No, I don't.
I rolled a
That's
crooked one.
giant. You can't get you can't get a job in the pre-roll department.
I rolled this by hand, damn it.
Yeah, you didn't have a rocket box.
No. And I didn't have any cones to stick in it either. This is my own cone I rolled.
Look at you.
Oops, I got a little tight licking it there at the filter.
You're rusty.
It's the first time I ever did it like this. I was watching raw videos because I was bored, and one of the ways you take the tip and you stick the paper in the tip and roll it up. So I tried it.
Oh yeah, try new things. Cool.
Why the hell not?
That's a good idea.
So
Oh, no,
I tried it. Oops, I see one mistake I made.
then you just improve the
Like
next
it'll
time.
smoke. We'll find out. We will find out live.
Perfect.
What were the brands you were popping, Casey? The ones
Sorry.
you just went through. The brands, the breeders you popped.
Oh, let's see. I did Fresh Coast rubber butter. Amazing trichomes. Didn't taste like much, unfortunately. I did a bunch of those. I had some a Dominion Diesel Cross. Not very, I mean, it's a diesel, but it's not a special diesel that just reeked. Let's see what else was there.
How did your Omerto stuff turn out?
I have one keeper from the Fire Creek OG, and I have it narrowed down to 1,000 oaks that I'm keeping. So I do have a keeper from each of his packs.
That's cool. I wanna, that's what I'll, when I first get started up, I'm gonna run all the stuff I have of his.
Ooh, it even fits.
Nice.
No, I mean, you know, that's the good thing about Luke is it's all F4. I saw today he's starting the F5 project on the Fire Creek OG. So it's, I mean, that's going to be, you're not going to have many varietals in there. You're going to have maybe
That's what you
8
said
varietals between the
about
males and females.
The 72 virgins, that's what he was, because they're F5s that I got, which is actually more stable than the ones that were at Candry, because those are
Yep.
F2s. And then I bought mine a couple years later. So mine are F5. So he said every single seed will be like the same basically. And which I'm excited about because the one female I got before I left that I had to give away was amazing. So I hope they're all like that.
The F2s produce a lot bigger than the F5s. I'll say that.
Why? Really? Okay.
Bigger. And Chad Westport, I learned how to roll a joint without a dollar bill about 2 months ago. I finally learned how to do it.
You guys still have
Yep.
dollar bills? Get with the times.
Yep.
Change is how it is. You feel rich when you have a sacket of
Yep.
movies.
Yeah. I'm
Oh, a
sure.
raw roller. I want one
Yes,
of those.
F6 would be an IBL. Inbred.
In
Um,
red,
Big Vader just asked that
in red
question.
line. Yeah, I see that.
Yep. Once you get to F6, I believe that's where you start calling them IBLs.
Okay. That's knowledge I didn't know. Thank you.
It might be F4, but I believe it's F6.
Yeah, I think the next thing I'm gonna pop is probably Biscotti Cake by Elevate, or maybe the Dosido X F1 Derp Gushes from Purple City Genetics. I'm just taking in the order I bought them because
Seen lots
I
of
did
those
some
too.
Dosido F1s from Uprising Seed Company, or sorry, it was Pure Kush cross with Dosido by Uprising Seed Company. Those all hermed.
oh, I was looking at the Fresh Coast Deco sale on the White Truffle, which I've mentioned before on the show, but I just admire it. I don't know, it was something about the density and the
Ross
tricoat.
is a great guy from Fresh Coast, but I don't know, his stuff has amazing frost, but I haven't had anything with flavor yet, unfortunately, that I've found.
Right. Well, everyone can make their own opinion, or maybe you have like seeds, when you say like you're doing a 20 pack, something like that, that's way out of my league. I can't do that without getting totally weird from taking clones all the time, and I have to do like a permanent schedule on that. But yeah.
Well, I had a freebie of his Outlaw Kush. It's hanging right now. It has nice colas on it, but again, his isn't the chirpiest I've found. There's ones out there that are more. I have this Max Stomper that is just insane. It's I hate to talk it up, but it's one of those rare unicorns you find. I mean, it tastes like grape cotton candy. It smells like grape cotton candy.
I wish.
You
Nice.
smell it, you just want to roll in it. Just rub it all over your body and eat it and all that fun stuff.
That's what I did at work today. I rolled around in the destruction weeds so that the girls could take a marketing video.
Oh, nice.
Well, I'm
Stay
glad you
tuned.
mentioned that because I just ordered Sunken Treasure Seeds Sunday Stomper a while back. And
Stomper. What's the stomper part?
that's
I will say
probably
this. I had 6 packs from Capulator that I ran, and that was close to 100 seeds, and I ended up with 2 keepers.
well, that's what a lot of people are telling me, like that if you're like really pheno hunting, you know the breeder and you get 100 seeds.
Grape stomper?
Max Stomper. Grape Stomper OG, you can't, you can get F2s, F3s, F4s of that, but you'd be lucky to find original seeds of that. But I have a cut of it that we've had for like 10 years, so 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I also got in-house genetics jelly pancakes and Canorado Goji Maji and symbiotic orange.
Ooh, you got the Goji Margie. We're growing one of the Margies at work.
Yeah, I felt like they had a good bud structure when I saw Girl Grown, and it looked like it had good density and really looked like gourmet.
I'm interested. Yeah.
The thing I've noticed with Canorado, if it doesn't throw a male flower on it, it will be a keeper.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me.
Yep.
It's in my notes.
And the reason I took some
they do cost them nuts, so keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, for sure. I always got my eyes peeled
But
for those.
we
would say that was my best.
They are.
Yeah, eagle eyes over here. You got to hear me, I'll sniff it out.
Well, the reason I took the symbiotic is because I thought I hadn't seen anyone in Denmark. So, and even if it was a large investment with some Bitcoins and stuff, I was just like, yeah, I will make my own opinion on each and every one of them. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
And maybe lottery tickets, just like they say. So yeah.
That's just it. It is almost like a lottery ticket. I ran through so many packs, and to think, I mean, I am extremely picky when it comes to keepers. A lot of the stuff I throw out, I know commercial facilities would keep that in a heartbeat, but it's just not to my standards. If it does not meet all my check marks, I will not keep it. I will throw it out. I have no problem with that. I'm very picky when it comes to that. It's got to have nose, it's got to look good, and it's got to taste good. It's got to have flavor to it. I will give seeds 3 runs each time, or 3 runs of each seed. A seed run plus the 2 clone runs to, hit those marks. But if they don't,
Mhm.
I
That
just
makes sense.
don't
So
want
because
to.
if you collect and collect over 16 years or whatever, like it's all about space, like a prize, who gets that spot? Not
I have
everybody.
a 5-gallon bucket full of seeds.
Everybody.
It's
The Hunger Games of mothers.
I
it's
just hope.
fun.
I just hope I don't.
In your favor. Grow bitches, grow.
I just hope I don't get a pheno that's sensitive the next time, because I'm so tired of the sensitive phenos. If it won't
Me
hit
too.
There's so many of them out there. It's
2
Sassy.
point, if it doesn't hit 2.0 EC, I'm like done. And I know that usually those knocks will not be very big, and I can't really push it. And when I just get that slight burn, you still suffer everything. So uh,
Mhm.
I've been having such a streak of just sensitive phenos, but at least I learned how to manage it. Like, and in I did
That's very
myself a
good.
dis. I did myself a disfavor when I choose to circulate. You know what I mean? Like, I just fucking learned all the signals and all, like, how to look at the plant. And when it starts looking like Jurassic Park jagged, that's when it's just been like burn. And I just want to share all those signals with everybody, because that's like, yeah, you can get to a certain level of go, and then you will have some confidence, stuff like that. Start looking for those signals, and you will get really better much faster, and you will get a more real representation of whatever you're having, like whenever you're popping, right? And so subtle
And like
differences.
sometimes I've learned too is you can't people that so that you need an eye for it. Like you have an eye for it, I have an eye for it, Casey has an eye for it. But in the weed in the commercial industry, not everyone has an eye for like being able to see those signs, even if you point it out. And like it's a strange thing.
I've seen a lot of in Denmark, like, say, like, oh, nice sativa, when they see like long, slender leaves, and it's obviously burned, and it's obviously, it's just pushing pistils, and it's just bulking, but who
Mhm,
cares? Because in the end, it will be subpar product.
mhm.
Like,
There's so much misinformation and so many people in this industry, at least that I've seen, that actually know not very much or they know misinformation, and they're like running facilities based on like bro science or things that they've misunderstood or not practiced themselves
their
or
college degree in growing vegetables.
every time I see someone starting out, it's always just, like, questions like the light schedule. Like, if you know the concept DLI, you should not focus on anything but the DLI, and not like 24 hours, unless you're like having like way, way, way underestimated light or something like that. Then you're just trying it out at space bucket. I don't know, making your own opinion. But in the end, I'm just like, I'm all about DLI.
mhm.
Um,
Like
I don't.
detail oriented people maybe, or I mean there's quite a few of us in the industry, like I work with them now, and like I had a few over at Kanji, but like wow, there's a lot that don't have it.
Even gas lantern routine has its side effects, in my opinion. I've agreed with a lot of people I usually talk with on that they seem to stretch more. They seem to know that they are not getting a full light cycle, so they seem to stretch significantly more, and they seem to also not really have the same response in the morning, like they're interrupted at night, and That's just my experience of it. But like every time beginners talk about lights, I just want to put it out in there that there's a reason why 18.6 is a standard, and there's a reason why 12.12 is standard, and there's a reason why people are sticking to DLI, and there's a reason why you can't just say 24-hour and more yield. It doesn't work like that. And I don't know. Actually, I used to start on some communities where I felt like everyone was talking about, you do you and I do me, and there's no methods that's incorrect. And somewhat I notice they are saying, and I'm always trying to be upbeat and when I'm teaching people somebody, but I'm going to put it out there that there are wrong methods. Don't get me wrong, there are wrong methods. There are wrong ways. There are ways that will cost you more time and that will and I know some people can jabber about it, and you should actually have fun with it. That's what I'm going to say. Like, you should also have fun with it, but and like you can have that in a space bucket or something like that. But if you want to take it seriously, it doesn't actually have to cost a lot of time. You have to invest a lot. You just need to listen to the right advice, and that's where I feel like the beginner forums and YouTube especially, also Reddit especially, is very, very polluted with the same echoes, the same just switch to 24-hour light schedule. It will give you more yields. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's, even when you Google stuff, like you have to really sift through the grow journals, or it's just my buddy talking about like this thing or that thing, and it's not like in like an article or anything. It's just like they links to people's threads and journals, where that's where people get a lot of misinformation because they read that as like, oh, that's legit, where it's like, no, you need to keep researching and like find the right stuff, not just hit the very first Google link.
Well, there is also a lot of popular YouTubers that are really like banging a drum on those 24-hour loud skills, that old world stuff. And also Reddit, like, you can't win against that because there's 100 people, but you know what? There's 100 people on Facebook that will upvote something that sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and be the highest comments. That's the most boring comments are at the top. That's always what I'm saying. Like, when you're going down, you get both the gnomes and the wise wizards. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I always go in the comments. That's where you're like, you find the actual knowledge sometimes, or the link, or the people that will have the knowledge that are like, this is not good information or whatever. But yeah, it's funny.
I try
So,
to
Elke,
distill. Oh, what are you saying? Sorry.
What about Bob wants to know what's a good target DLI in your opinion when running your 2.0 EC?
Oh, well, actually, considering I use that app, I'm going to say, like, I can't guarantee that accuracy for sure, but I can tell you from my last two experiences that I tried to dial it in at around 35, and then it reached like the 40, 45, and I thought like, okay, that's probably my limit. You know what I mean? But I also, when I started dimming my lights more, I also noticed that the stalks were significantly longer on the same clone next time when I had them at, I think it was 30. I started at when I flipped them, and that was at the cannibal level, and then they crept up, of course. And instead, when they were when they crept all the way up to 40 or something like that, I cut back on the hours instead. That's what I perceive as, like you do, Casey, like 11, 13. I would imagine that is more natural or more less stressful than actually dimming the light, and then you have changed the whole situation.
Gotcha. I hope that answered the question for you there, Bob. He asked it, and I was sitting there waiting for you to take a breath so I could ask the question.
Yeah, and I discussed this with some other people, and they thought like, maybe your stretch wasn't due to that, but they really felt like I shouldn't do a DLI of more than aim that they don't go over 35, 40 when they're at the tallest point. Because remember, I don't have CO2. So actually, when I'm just looking at a DLI chart and I'm seeing like the 45s in a few weeks, um, that's like under ideal conditions, right?
I'm amazed you can get that EC up to 2.0 without the CO2, to be honest. I mean,
Well,
that's all with your DLI. That I mean, the plants are eating it up. That's the only reason you're getting it up there.
well, that is true because I watch my pH and EC correlate,
Yep.
and I adjust EC according to how. That's also another myth you can bust. Like saying like people are testing runoff pH, and yeah, there's exudates and stuff like that. But when you're talking like a pure mineral scenario, one of the only things that can affect this is like the mineral content. And in the recirculating, I will see it all the time. It will constantly be creeping up most of the time when it's dialed in just a little bit, so I can refill it more often. And yeah, so I'm in the fast lane like that. But if it starts climbing, yeah, then it's definitely too little, the pH. If the pH is like 6.1 out of sudden, and it was at 5.9 within 2 days, then you're 100% sure that you gotta bump up the EC, maybe with a half milliliter. You know what I mean? Like in that recirculator, I'm constantly at the edge, because whenever I refill, then it will climb .0 EC the next day if it's run fairly hard. And when it's just super dialed in, it's just it will just stay the same. But in peak flower, you also got to push it a little bit. So I don't want to skip out on anything. But like the last strain I grew, I actually just used 0.1, where the recommended was 1.0. And it just goes to say that some strains don't really need that, especially with autoflowers. I found that they really have those sensitive genes. That's for sure. Like some of that ruderalis is peeking in and messing with things, and you can't always trust what people are saying. Like they're saying, "Oh, you can harvest faster, and you can." What are they saying? They're saying, "Oh, this one is perfect. It's got these gorgeous orange, purple, pink buds." You know what I mean? But in the end, people only post what they want to share, like what they think looks good. So I've seen so many people that got unlucky, and also those early harvest times. Remember, that's a seed you're popping, so that's going to be vastly different between all of them most of the time, unless it's a really really good breed and you can actually have them within those 1-2 weeks. And
Exactly.
also when they start to flower. I mean, I've had strains that start within what was it, 23 days or something like that. And then I had others that went for 6 weeks, and then I started seeing pistils. What the fuck? So,
Yeah.
and it's pretty known. Well, man, some of the oldest OGs I've talked to here, they're just like, well, that's just autoflowers for you, like you breed with recessive genes. And I'm like, everybody wants that ability, It's good to have an autoflowering ability. I'm all for that. But I feel like sometimes it's even sold as like a hamburger or a Happy Meal with a toy next to it. That's what I feel like. I feel like people have reached a point where they can't promote them any further. Like it's on YouTube and stuff like that. It's like a vintage club of some sorts. Like if you go into something like old hi-fi or car dealerships or car clubs, you know what I mean? Like or old Amiga computer clubs, like where people have a really certain belief and they're clinging onto that belief, and it's only autoflowers and it's the only thing that fucking works. And it's a completely different style of growing. I have to tell you that. Like, and yeah, I would have to say that if someone can promise that those defects, like not flowering, would never be, there was no chance they could be there, those duds, and I didn't have to vet them all the time. And if they could promise that the harvest window would be within that very very short time, and it was something that was remarkable, something that could compete, something that's up there, then I would consider doing it again. But I've just tried so many different. I had the same things. I've tried some that couldn't even take, like, they could take the same dose of base newts, 2 milliliter, very sensitive base newts, by the way, but they could take that in veg. As soon as I flipped them, like, bam, 7-day flower. It was like nitrogen claw, and I was just like, what the fuck? Why are they doing that when the EC is like relatively low? And I only seen that ever on autoflowers. Never seen that anywhere else, and it happened in every single seed in that pack, like three seeds. And yeah, the breeder was like, yeah, they'll still grow bud, but I don't care. If I can't really play with the plant and it's responsive and stuff like that, I can't really like surf on that, like to try to manage its needs, then I don't really know what I want to mess with it.
Exactly. No, I hear you there.
But I'm just like, I'm totally for that cult, that Amiga Commodore Vintage Smart Club super community that autoflowers have. But don't lie to me. I mean, like, don't go and say that it's always the better option or something like that, because that is overselling to me. You are being more unequal than the photoperiod breeders actually are when they are. I mean, like the photoperiod growers who are, actually have a neutral stance on things, but they are not calling it a super strain. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's everyone, or not everyone. They have autoflowers have a place. It isn't with me.
Outdoors, that's the most obvious answer.
Exactly. They're great for some people. That's what I'm trying to say. Others, they don't work.
Well, I was going to give an example. Go and look on Ethos autos, for that matter, and compare it to the photoperiod selection and the images. I mean, I've even seen breeders like post pictures of burnt plants and do that all the time. All the major breeders like, oh, that's a good picture. Oh, maybe to the marketing department, but try to ask the grower, because that fucking looks like a burnt plant to me if I know one.
That's what I meant earlier about that eye. Not everyone has it. Some of the pictures you see of stuff and people are like, look at this dank weed. You're like,
Well, someone sent me a picture. Look at these great plants we're growing. I'm like, you got spider mites. Well, yeah, only on a few plants in a corner, but I'm like, you sent me a picture. I can see the spot down there on the one leaf. You got spider mites, man.
spider mites, man.
Who
wants to be the bearer of bad news? Yeah.
Knock on wood. I don't want spider mites. No way.
Oh.
But I heard that people would much rather like that than they would russet mites. Russet mites is the worst, right?
Spider mites are just as easy as thrips, I guess. So you either have a resistant crew on your hands or one that's easy.
Yep.
Soft-bodied insects.
And another thing, now that we're talking myths,
For a lot of different things, Adam.
IPM, yeah. Right into it.
I wanted to say another myth a lot of people have is that all those nutrients, stuff like that. I try to distill all of what I've learned, like, and try to put it simply, like how people should have fun and just start. And what I essentially came up with, without all the minuscule details, was you need the right temperature. You need to listen and have like 27, and of course some humidity and stuff like that. But usually, within certain environments and as your plants are growing, stuff like that, that humidity will build up anyways. So if I really distill it down, the right temperature, 27 C plus or 29, depending on the strain. If you have that and you have all the prerequisites like circulation, exhaust, don't skimp on that, get a good one. Tent, don't skimp on that, get a good one. But like even the cheapest tents are like, they're just as good as Secret Garden, you know. So
Yeah, I have a really expensive one, Gorilla, and then a really, really cheap one, Vivo Sun. And honestly, like they're the same.
My buddy just ordered 3 Vivo Suns and had to send them back because
Ooh.
zippers.
Yeah, I haven't had any sort of problems that way, thank goodness.
Yeah,
that's a problem. That's a problem I don't have with the home box either. That's why I love them. They have like really robust, good zippers. And yeah, Gorilla I know also have zippers like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're very good.
And another thing, like nutrients, like if you can't grow healthy plants with AB, like your NPK and your CalMag, or AB, grow and bloom, whatever, the bare essentials, then there's something else wrong. It's like like root additives are good, but they're not essential. They are just for a very specific stage, and it's like some of the most, like, I'm going to tell you, like the most expensive bottle like filled half my shopping list once was Mammoth P, and they said it worked in cocoa, and it cost like 60 euros, some shit like that. I was ready to make a video and fucking pour that bottle right down into the drain because I used it. I used a double dose. I used everything. And even if it has triacontanol and there is a PGR, I still couldn't get it working. Like I'm just like, okay, is it the microbes or is it the PGR working? No fucking know. You won't know. So, but saying that it doesn't work, I mean, like, I'm ready to support, man. I mean, I hope there's some soil biology or something where it works. But in my case, in cocoa, even if I left it there and didn't have runoff, stuff like that, I never noticed anything.
Yeah, I've tried so many things that just don't work. I don't generally bring them up, but I mean, if I'm giving someone advice, I guess, like, I'll definitely sway people against using, and like you said, in my environment with this stuff, I mean, it could be different in someone else's environment, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, Silica is always worth it for me with LST. That's my best bang for buck supplement because it's viable for me from seedling to. I don't know if I actually saw that, or this is just, no, never mind. But I know that a lot of organic people are like, there's plenty of silicon in soil and in water even, but I mean, can your stems go in a U? Can your stems go upside down? Well, if you use a proper silica, it can.
I mean, I see a difference when using silica versus not using silica.
Yeah, definitely. Some people also say that you get a weird taste to the bud or something like that, or they're more spongy or more like elastic. I don't know how to put it, but that's how they're saying it. I didn't really recognize that, but I mean, yeah, like the bare essentials, the NPK and the CalMag, your A and B, your grown. If you can't do well with that, then there's something else you got to figure out.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Find your nearest grower if you can figure it out.
Reach out. Ooh. Uh-oh. I think we're coming to the end of the night, my dudes. I have an early day tomorrow and I still have to get supper on the go, and I got to take my dog for a little walkie. and roll tomorrow's joints.
Doggo needs to go.
Yeah. This has been a slice though again. And I like that it was just us three for this one. We'll probably have a guest next month, I think. We'll figure that out. Figure out the new time. This works.
It was a very cozy show with a lot of valuable guests. A lot of prominent guests.
Yes, exactly. Your local hydro hustlers and their favorite people.
Yep.
It's cool how it's just a magnet, right? We all visit each other's shows and we all leaving comments and we all.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice community.
Totally. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I want a dog too, man. I want a
dog, yeah. Dogs
I want
are
that.
nice.
I want that exact Doge, the sheepy dog. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd call,
My dog is just waiting patient. I'll show you. He's waiting patiently.
Really like.
This is my co-host here.
What's going to be today?
Yeah, like, when are we going, bitch? The cat too is like, you saw the cat's also ready for his walkies. He's got frogs to catch.
Send me pictures because it's hilarious. Please.
I need to get on the pictures. I'm on it, Casey.
Right over 'em.
I'm just regaining my energy, but I'm on it. My brain's coming back.
And congratulations again. And can't wait to hear how your first month goes.
Yeah, I'm excited for this first month. It's always good. Out the gate, we're doing great. So
Good.
me and my
Very
little
good.
team, love them. Yes. So I will just say adieu for myself. I have no one to really, I'm not sponsored by no one. Cheap Home Grow, boom. And the Cheap Home Grow Nation. So I will give much gratitude to the gang at Growing with My Fellow Growers, my besties over there, my besties here, the OG founder, and all the chat and everyone that came out today. Holla. You can find me over on Instagram at Miss Nudie Grows. And I'll also be posting through the Stewart Farms Life Instagram, doing cultivation reels because people love seeing what's going on in the background. So that's also part of my duties. That's also part of the package that came with me over here. So I'm excited to take on a little bit of a social media role. So yeah, follow any of those Instagrams or holler at me, come say hello, and have a great night, boys, men.
All right. Well,
Go ahead, Elkie.
I'm going to say thanks a lot to the chat and the prominent guests here. Also, my sponsor Playground, of course, the OG host, everyone, the GML show. But there's one in particular I wanted to mention. I've been helping out a fellow friend since I posted I did this mashup page, Diamond Club 420, which is on pause right now because I couldn't have time for it. Where I posted some of the amazing grows. So what I would do, repost on my open page. I just made a different page for it. I met this guy called Diamond Canna, and his boy has just completed his leukemia chemotherapy, and he's actually run what was it? It wasn't a marathon or a half marathon or something like that. It was more like a run. There was a run where you could win something, some shoes or something he wanted. And he'd actually end up doing it at night because he couldn't, because he was contained because of some corona in the family or whatever. Anyways, I want to congratulate him on that. I've had his page, his GoFundMe page in my bio for some time because I know his business was robbed just before, meanwhile, while they were coping and tried to get the right hospital for this boy. And I know how expensive that can be, devastating in the US. So I just wanted to congratulate that boy and hope that that they can get on forward here. Saw a test on 0% malignant cells, and I'd like it to stay that way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Lots of prayers. I'll add them to my smudging.
Shit, I can't follow that up. I'm Honey Bear Casey. You can find me on Instagram. I haven't been posting much lately, just been taking it easy and exploring the UP. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been fun as always. Look forward to seeing you the 1st of September, or first Wednesday of September. So
Don't wear white. It'll be
Yep.
after Labor Day.
Yep. Thank you to Luminar Lighting, of course, for the free lighting they've given me. So everyone, I guess, have a great night and enjoy your show.
I'll snap behind that. All right, guys. Love you lots. Good night.
Everyone.
Thanks a lot.